A full 60-minute effort and a big 4-point swing as the Panthers dictated play in their win over the Atlantic Division leading Leafs. The Panthers send the message that they're still the team to beat.
You're Locked On Panthers, your daily podcast on the Florida Panthers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into this Thursday, November 28th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Thank you for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. I'm Armando Velez from the Hockey News. If you follow me on X at MondoMan12, follow the show account on X and Instagram at LO_FLA Panthers, and on Blue Sky as well at LOFLA Panthers, no underscore there. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet and you'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So after an intense practice for the Florida Panthers where Paul Maurice threw some F-bombs at the squad and was very animated, the message was sent to them, and then the Panthers did their own message sending to the division-leading Toronto Maple Leafs in a 5-1 win where there were 5 different goal scorers, 2 power play goals, a shorthanded goal, and an empty netter. And it was a rout of the Leafs to show once again that they are the team to beat, regardless of just winning 2 of their last 8 games. And here to break down more of this 5-1 win for the Florida Panthers over the Toronto Maple Leafs from Amerant Bank Arena on this pre-Thanksgiving game between these two squads. We're actually recording this a little past midnight here on the East Coast, but he was at the game tonight and pleased to be welcoming in Florida Panthers historian Francisco Oporta. Francisco, what a response by the Panthers. And I want to start with a little bit of a vibe check for what the arena was like tonight as you witnessed this in person, as we saw the returns of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Steven Lorentz, and Anthony Stolarz. So welcome back, my friend.
Yeah, good to be back. So, as far as the atmosphere and the energy of the arena, I felt it was really surprisingly very positive. And yeah, I think the hardcore fans, the doom and glooms on the socials may have tailored my expectations differently. But going to the game, given this homestand, the way things have been going lately, you would think there'd be a negative vibe to it. But I think that was completely erased once the Panthers actually started that game, because that they played like, well, that was Panthers hockey again.
Mm-hmm.
And they played much better than they've been playing in such a long time. And getting those 2 quick scores to start the game as well really solidified the feelings of the crowd. I was genuinely happy to see the ratio between Panthers fans and Leafs fans is probably the lowest I've ever seen when facing the Toronto Maple Leafs. I honestly think there might have been like a 95% split. It was that much because of course the Leafs fans will show up, but I honestly felt like this is probably one of the smallest Leaf representation crowds I've seen in a long time, and that boded well with the Panthers being able to set the tone early in this game that, hey, this is the same Florida Panthers, the same Stanley Cup champions that you're going to have to deal with now. And they've been playing kind of shaky as of late, but you know that shakiness isn't going to last long. And it was over tonight.
Right from the start, and I was a little worried once Matthew Tkachuk took that unnecessary penalty 58 seconds into the game, and thinking, oh no, here we go again for what for the Panthers, and just mental errors for them. But really, the physicality really went on from there for the Panthers, and really they set the tone on that penalty kill. Eetu Luostarinen with a little bit of a strip on OEL on that PK for them, and then getting 2 goals in 50 seconds. Both of those goals for the Panthers, it was really them being faster to puck retrievals. On the first one, getting them low to high, and then Ekblad feeding Barkov for the one-timer to make it 1-0 on the power play, and then just 50 seconds later, for Mackie Samoskevich, for Etu driving to the net, and then Mackie Samoskevich scoring, which ended up being the game-winning goal for the Panthers. There, but it was really about the Panthers disrupting the breakouts of the Toronto Maple Leafs as well there on the night, and really not getting caught in transition. They even had new D pairs for them, where Mikkola and Balinskis were paired together at first, and then it was eventually switched with Schmidt and Mikkola, and then Balinskis and Kulikov there, and without Anton Lindell in this one. Had the bubble for him in morning skate, but Murray said that he could play on Friday. But again, faster to their retrievals, and everything for them, and also the rotating of power play 1 for Bennett being on the man advantage once, he being on it, which he scored on the front end of a double minor, which Nate Schmidt, a very scary moment, taking that cross check to the face from William Nylander, and then Mackie Samoskevich getting that opportunity later on in the game on the power play. So getting rewarded, and also confidence coming back. I mean, quietly, Carter Verhaeghe 2 goals in the last 3 games after going through a little bit of a dud throughout the last few weeks for him. So confidence has been back for the Panthers. They get in on a shorthanded goal, although the Toronto Maple Leafs score a minute later there, but it was never really any panic for this Florida Panthers team, as they really truly controlled play.
I always kind of key in on how they're doing defensively, and I mean, this really did feel like they went back to their solid defensive play. You mentioned it before, as far as like breakouts are concerned, those home run passes that they were just seemingly giving up in a surprising, alarmingly high amount of times in the last few games, and you didn't really see that. The perfect with keeping the sticks on the ice. They had good disruptions of any sort of plays with or passing lanes for the Leafs. So the Leafs really didn't have many opportunities in this game to get going, and the Panthers, from the first line all the way down to the fourth line, especially the fourth liners, there were a lot of moments with the fourth line where they were pinning the Leafs into their own zone and just buying time and even creating great opportunities for themselves. There were plenty of great opportunities by that fourth line at Anthony Stolarz tonight. And not a great welcoming back for Stolarz, but they played the tribute video for him, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and Steven Lorentz, which was nice. But not the greatest of welcomes, putting up 5 goals on them with an empty netter there. But still, the defensive play of the Panthers really, they did not allow the Leafs to really get many opportunities to get at Bob. And there were a few of them. There were some scary moments there when it was still a 2-goal game, but even then, the Panthers still found a way to put it together, and with the ultimate being that shorthanded goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Reinhart's 17th of the season, 4th shorthanded goal. The Panthers have 2 more shorthanded goals than the next best team in the Columbus Blue Jackets, who have 4. So Sam Reinhart has as much as the second most in the team with the second highest in the NHL, and also. Ed Jovanovski also on the broadcast described their dumps with a purpose, and the support was just there for their battles. And the best chance on the night was Oliver Ekman-Larsson in early in the first period, where the third line was able to collapse in to where Bob had a slightly open net, and then they were able to get the clear. That's where Bob dropped his stick on purpose to if you see, for the listeners out there who don't really understand that, it's just to create different opportunities to at least get allow the stick to get the puck and not necessarily guess a direction, at least give yourself a better chance to make that save. That's why you see him drop the stick as much as he does there for those. But really limiting the second chances, and the rebound control was outstanding. They're able to play shutdown hockey where there was only 4 shots on goal between the two teams in the first 13 minutes of that third period, and ended up 10 overall between both teams combined. And the Panthers, we see what they do with a lead, 10-0-0 leading after the third period this season, 79-0-4 since March of 2023, which continues to be just an incredible stat that the Panthers have just that they have for these last few seasons. Just different Florida Panthers team that we see, and different mindset for them. But we're going to transition over to segment number 2, where we're going to discuss more of our 3 stars of the game and the moment where we thought the game was won. We're going to discuss that more next here on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. And get ready to take on the NFL action with America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get 100 in the middle of the game, you can check the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bet. And if you think that the Miami Dolphins have a chance to go on the road in the snowy conditions when they visit Jordan Love and the Packers in Lambeau Field, you could place your bets at FanDuel.com. So visit FanDuel.com and join today. Let's get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Also, this episode is brought to you by Game Time. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. The Game Time Pick filters out the fluff, so it shows you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The all-in pricing toggling this feature shows the total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. And once again, I'd like to thank you guys for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day here on a Thursday edition of the show, where the Florida Panthers are coming off a 5-1 win over their division rival Toronto Maple Leafs to keep pace for the race for the Atlantic Division for them. And let's go to our 3 stars of the game for this one. Number 3 star for the Panthers for me is Carter Verhaeghe. Got a goal on the night, 3-point night, 2 goals in the last 3 games, as we mentioned earlier. The confidence looks to be back with Carter Verhaeghe for him, at least it seems. And even Paul Maurice spoke about how it's not a lack of trying for him on what he's able to do. Number 2 is Aaron Ekblad. It's really, truly set the tone physically. 4 hits, 2 blocks, all the big assignments that you could ask for. I know that on the other side of on the Maple Leafs, they're a little bit hobbled with no Austin Matthews, no Max Domi for them, no Matthew Nyes, but still, every single assignment that Aaron Ekblad had, he really flourished. And really, even when they're on the power play, on a little bit of a scary moment for the Toronto Maple Leafs getting a shorthanded chance from Connor Dewar, he had a big check that really prevented even them getting a shot on Sergei Bobrovsky for them on their end. So Aaron Ekblad is my 2nd star. And number 1 star is Alexander Barkov. First goal on the power play, the shorthanded setup by Sam Reinhart, which John Tavares, he put that puck in no man's land right before Barkov took it up the ice, and then there was no way that he was passing that to Ekblad. Seeing smart enough, high hockey IQ play to drop it off to Sam Reinhart for that shorthanded goal to make it 3-0 at the time. So Verhaeghe, Ekblad, Barkov. How about yours, sir?
So I don't know if this is cheating, but I'd like to give a star to the fourth line.
Okay.
In some as a whole, just because those guys are unsung heroes. They're always just they're the guys that are grinders, right? And I especially like the fact that they did pin the Leafs into their own zone quite a few times. I had some actual great opportunities on net as well with some shots there, and really their play was a microcosm of the entire play of the Panthers today, where everybody was on their A game tonight, all the way down to that fourth line, and it gave the Leafs some fits there, to the point where, hey, this is not the way that they've been playing over the last few games. This is the actual, real, legit Florida Panthers that we're seeing, and they stepped up. They came to play in a game that, yeah, this is incredible. This could be a playoff matchup in the future. This is a playoff matchup from the past, and this is a team that's ahead of your division. So they really needed these 2 points, and so there's that. Alexander Barkov, of course. It seems easy now to just say Alexander Barkov, and most likely nobody will really disagree with you with him being a star, but I mean, that's what he is. That's the consistency that you get from the captain, from a perennial Selke candidate. It's just the presence and the confidence from the fan base. Everybody, Paul Maurice can put him out there in any situation, and he's going to be good for it. And then finally, we'll give it to Bob. We'll give another one to Bob. Solid play once again. You get him making tons of great saves there, and like you said, great rebound control, sucking up the puck and freezing it in those. I think he faced 24 shots today as well, or at least he made 24 saves. So I mean, the Panthers defense doing a great job limiting chances by the Leafs, but ultimately, you don't get anywhere without him only giving up that one goal. And I mean, that one goal was incredibly unfortunate because the faceoff was won by the Leafs, and he was basically left by himself. Who was it, Marner, that scored that one?
Yeah, with multiple handles too.
Yeah, exactly. And he waited Bob out. But Bob was outstretched. He had his glove up as high as he could get it, lying out on the ice. And unfortunately, he got past him. So it might have been a shutout had that not been. But unfortunately, that face-off kind of just trickled down to him. He was right there all alone. So it was just a one-on-one play, but can't fault him for it. And hey, it was a good goal. Good goal. Nice hands there, and the patience to get it past Bob. But that's really the I mean, Bob was that good that it took that type of a goal for the Leafs to even get on the score sheet.
No doubt. The moment where we thought the game was won, I thought it was won with the moment that Sam Reinhart scored that shorthanded goal.
Oh yeah,
for them.
Nice.
I thought it was just you got them right where you want. You got them in a great position. I mean, the Panthers have just been doing, and also the broadcast also mentioned they haven't scored. They haven't lost a single game where they score a shorthanded goal. So it's a big recipe when everything is going through. Like we mentioned at the top, you get a goal in every different situations on the night, and you're just out skating them, pinning them in for them. And also, in a calendar year, Sam Reinhart is 7 goals away from passing Pavel Bure for the most goals in a single calendar year. I know that's between different seasons, but what a year that Sam Reinhart is having, and after getting paid. And also, Dmitry Kulikov got a little bit of a record tonight. Most hits in Florida Panthers history, passing Radko Gudas and it also goes to show how much of a force Radko Gudas was and how much of a menace throughout his very short tenure with the Florida Panthers. So yeah. Kulikov, big congrats to him. And it's a longevity award, a longevity milestone, where although he has been away for 7 seasons before coming back, hey, big congratulations to him. It's just like Udonis Haslem getting the most rebounds in Miami Heat history. So your thoughts on Kulikov?
Oh yeah, I mean, sheesh, man. I think he's a fan favorite, obviously, um, and two stints with the team. Was there during the initial beginnings of that blueprint of Dale Talon, and then comes back under Bill Zito and still able to be a key puzzle piece in a Stanley Cup championship. So you gotta love Dmitry Kulikov. I don't think there's anybody in the fan base or anything like that that can ultimately, in the end, once everything's all said and done, won't look fondly upon Dmitry Kulikov as a Panther. Like he's welcome anytime at the arena, right? And I mean, as far as the when the game was won, yeah, that shorthanded goal, it was very key as well, because at the time you get that shorthanded goal, and then the Leafs do score on that power play anyways afterwards, but it just felt like it was negated completely. Like they did score, but like they were back where they started anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like, it must have felt like to them like a wasted power play in the end anyways. And once again, the type of goal that it was, just trickling down to Bob and then Marner scoring right there. Yeah, okay, fine. If you're going to give up a goal, then that's the way you give it up. But hey, you scored a shorty during that power play, so that's probably the best way to give up a goal, and you're still up by 2 anyways. And then once you get to the third, the Panthers play their shutdown hockey, and then get it to the point where they score another, and then force the Leafs into the empty net, and then it's garbage time from there.
Yeah, with Sam Bennett now in double digits for him out on the empty netter. So
lots of dogs getting paid for.
For sure. But we are going to shift over to segment number 3, where we are going to discuss how big is this win actually for the Florida Panthers, and what are we thankful for, not only in our own lives, but as far as Florida Panthers hockey throughout this whole year, and even in our lifetime of being fans. We are going to discuss that more next here on the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Rewards, and this is a PSA for anyone who rents. If you've heard of Built, you are about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points so you can start using towards flights, hotel stays, and business classes, and even your next payment. So let me break it down for you. If you're a renter, I'd start taking advantage of Built if I were you. Here's the thing. We earn points on groceries, travel, and practically everything else we buy. But we should also be earning points on rent, one of the biggest monthly expenses. Built changed the game by letting renters earn high-value points on rent and around their neighborhood. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you'll be able to earn valuable points on rent on your everyday spending. Points can also be redeemed towards a future rent payment and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So start earning points on rent and that you're already paying for by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonNHL. That's joinbilt.com/lockedonNHL. Make sure you use our URL so they know that we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/lockedonNHL. Start earning points on your rent payments today. Third and final segment here on this Thursday, November 28th edition of the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast. Here with Florida Panthers historian Francisco Oporta to discuss more of this 5-1 victory for the Florida Panthers over the Toronto Maple Leafs at home from Amerant Bank Arena. How big was this win, actually, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, as far as the grand scheme of things, I mean, it was big in the sense that they did need to stop the bleeding as far as their recent play in the last 7 or so games. I think at this point, I don't feel much panic at all, even with the recent play with the Panthers, because I know that they're going to find a way to get back to basics with how they play defensively and how they move the puck on the offensive end, dumping the puck, finding open space where they can, and getting back to creating safe plays to kind of grind at teams and then play that pounding Panthers hockey that's that can score high when they need to, but lock it down when they when push comes to shove in the third if they got that lead. So it's huge in the fact. I mean, it's big in the fact that you get closer to the division leader, but at this point, I don't even really mind what seed the Panthers even get into the playoffs at, because they've proven either way they can make it deep into the playoffs no matter what you seed them at. So huge, and I guess big in the fact that, hey, it did stop the bleeding. It kind of maybe calms some people down in the fan base with how they're playing, and no more doom and gloom for now. Go out and have some, eat your turkey, eat your ham, and enjoy yourself, and be thankful that they're the defending Stanley Cup champion. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't know, not too big. It doesn't do much for me, but I'm like, okay, good win. Good job, guys. And then they still, I mean, it still doesn't get easier. They got Carolina coming up now. But then after that, and I know you've noted this on the socials as well, the Panthers' strength of schedule from here on out, relatively so, gets a bit easier for them. So then they can start racking up some of those streaks and then finding their game again.
Yeah, it's not so much about the standings, and I'll kind of reflect on what you're saying, but keep it due to one sentence. It was not allowing the snowball to keep rolling and building up of negative emotions for this team. And I think this was a good win for them to just not allow that, and just continue to just say, okay, they know who they are. And so that's why I think it's a big win. Not necessarily the points, but hey, being 1 point behind, and the Leafs having a game in hand. By the time Saturday comes around, the Leafs will have 2 games in hand, because they're staying in Florida. They'll have 2 days off before they face the Tampa Bay Lightning, while the Panthers will play one more game. So we'll see where it goes there. And also, if you were to lose today, going back to this, if you did lose today, there you saw the matchups with Boston winning in New York, although Tampa Bay and Buffalo lost there. It's only crazy what could happen if the Panthers were on the losing end and had those other teams won, as in Tampa Bay and Buffalo. We're at that Thanksgiving barometer, which is very important and a big topic of conversation in the NHL every single year when we do get to this point. So, hey, but they talked about getting their priorities straight on dictating the pace. And Reinhart spoke about it being a great test for the Panthers. And hey, the fact that the 60 plus games, the 59 now, excuse me, and you're getting these 3 out of the way right now against 2 teams that are going to be in the dance. This could really set up for a hopefully great December for them. But let's finish this on an even lighter note for us here on the podcast. Let's discuss a little bit of what we're thankful for. Personally, I am very thankful for my health, and also to be able to come every day and do passionate work that I love, and also talking to the listeners of the show, and also bringing in great guests like yourself here on the show to continue doing this. And also for the Panthers side of things, their commitment to excellence as the team in South Florida that has the best chance to win a championship again going into this year with the state of South Florida sports. And also for this franchise, they just continue to just keep rolling. And then whenever there could be a little bit of a seed of doubt, they shut that conversation up. So I want to give the floor to you on just what you're thankful for, Francisco.
I mean, if we have to pick out something, obviously them winning the cup and everything like that, yeah, we're all thankful for that. Everybody's thankful for that. I'm gonna pick out something here because I went to this game tonight, and I went with two coworkers, their first ever hockey game.
Wow,
And I
that's
think,
awesome.
yeah, and I think as hockey fans, we're trying to grow this sport. We're trying to, in a way, promote it ourselves because I mean it's fun. This sport is. I call hockey the beautiful game. It's not soccer; it's hockey. And I think being able to kind of relive your first hockey game through the eyes of other people is always a fun thing to do. And I think as hockey fans, we should always try and be stewards of growing the game, of regardless of religion, race, creed, whatever you want to say it, however you want to think. Like spreading the game is always the number one goal, and I think people who are diehard hockey fans have an obligation to do so. And it was great seeing that, but I think I do want to be thankful for Amerant Bank Arena. I jokingly call it National Car Rental Center, Bank Atlantic Center, and like all the old names it's ever had on the socials, even Miami Arena. But I can't tell you how many people who I've taken to their first hockey game, and they've probably been to some other arenas, either someplace else, but for like basketball, or to other stadiums for like football or even baseball. They've been to the Marlins games, they've been to the Dolphins game or the Heat game, but they've never been to the Panthers game. But now the Panthers are good; they're interested, and so you take them to the arena, and they like the setup of the arena, the way that the parking situation is, the way the arena is just kind of in its own area, just the in and out of getting to and from the arena, and then the actual layout inside of the arena from the wide concourses and all of the upgrades that they have been making incrementally, especially lately, and now with the lease being renewed, that they're going to be making. It's becoming the arena is already 25 plus years old now, but it is still, I would say, one of the premier NHL venues for a place that big. It's one of the bigger arenas in the NHL, and I think we do have to appreciate the home of the Florida Panthers, that they have made that their home, especially since the Viola Sifu ownership started. That it really does truly feel like the home of the Florida Panthers, not a place that the Panthers happen to be playing at. No, this is where they are, this is where they're established. When you think of the Florida Panthers, you also think of Amerant Bank Arena. And I think we should be thankful for the actual venue itself and the building. And I hope that, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 40 years in time, maybe it could be one of those arenas that, or legendary stadiums that just, oh, wow, they've been playing there forever and that's their home, and they can improve everything inside and outside of the arena to kind of keep it going over time and not have to tear it down and build a new one. I really think the connection between generations of fans is also, the venue itself plays a part of that. And so I'm thankful for the arena.
Yeah, and also the acoustics have improved so much with the new sound system. So it's definitely, the game day experience has definitely improved over the years, and I feel like they're listening more to their fans over the last few years for them. So the game day experience has never been any better for this Florida Panthers franchise. So as far as Thanksgiving at the Oporta household, I'll start with mine. For mine, turkey, arroz con gandules, and pernil will have it in my household. And also, I have a shot next to me for post production, some coquito that I'm gonna drink right after we're done here. So very excited for that, and as well as the day. But how about yours?
Yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving's always great. Mashed potatoes are always my favorite out of all things. I don't know. I mean, it's something you can get all the time, but like, I don't know, it's something about mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving it's just different. Hits different. Um, yeah, and we got. We have queso frito in our place. Like there's stuff like that, and then spending time with family and just vegging out completely. I don't know if I'll watch in the NFL games, but we'll put it on in the background and see what happens, right? And yeah. So it'll be a good Thanksgiving. And I don't have any drinks or anything. I got some Perrier I can drink with you while you take a shot of that.
But yeah, awesome. So very excited for everyone who gets to, hopefully, if you do have a day off and enjoyed with your loved ones, I hope that you, Francisco, also enjoy your Thanksgiving with your loved ones. Happy Thanksgiving. Feliz Dia de Acción de Gracias a ti. Or as a lot of Hispanics, our fellow Hispanics like to say, Happy Thanksgiving. So thank you for joining me, my friend, and tell everybody where they can follow you.
Yeah, so at FLA Cast History on X, and then Panthers History on TikTok, FLA Panthers History on Instagram. I do have a Blue Sky social as well. I think that's just Panthers History because I took it before the Carolina Panthers historian takes it. So I'm on all of that right now. And you can see that I'm wearing merch, so I'm trying to promote some stuff here. So, buy the merch if you feel like getting some of this stuff here. I got shirts and hats and all that stuff. And then I do Marlins history, but we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah, too many good vibes with the Panthers to go in that direction. But Francisco, thank you so much, and hope to see you again soon.
All right, happy Thanksgiving.
And if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe to the podcast to be notified every single time the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast jumps into your podcast feed. Don't forget to also subscribe to the other shows on the Locked On NHL network, including Locked On NHL, Locked On Fantasy Hockey, Flip Livingstone and Steel Roden, and Locked On NHL Prospects. Thank you once again for making the Locked On Florida Panthers podcast your first listen of the day. So I'm Armando Velez with Francisco Oporta, and you've been listening to Locked On Florida Panthers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day.